Welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a truly fascinating journey ahead of us. Today, we're going to explore the stark, almost unbelievable contrast between India's very loud, highly visible national political arenas and the deeply buried, terrifyingly quiet secrets of the private sphere. So on one hand, we'll be looking at massive economic maneuvers and sweeping political debuts that are capturing the entire nation's attention. But on the other hand, we're going to dig into a really dark, hidden reality. We're talking about a gripping true crime mystery that literally remained buried out of sight for more than 3 decades. It's a really powerful look at what we display to the world and what we desperately try to hide. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We're starting off with Modi's price control strategy, then moving into Vijay's major political debut. After that, we'll pivot to a decades-old cold case in Ahmedabad, and finally unpack this strange intersection of guilt, ghosts, and DNA. All right, let's begin with Section 1, Modi's price control strategy. When we normally think about managing inflation, we usually think of things like interest rates or import duties, right? But PM Modi's strategy is taking a remarkably unconventional turn here. To combat rising prices across the country, he's reportedly focusing on 2 very specific levers. First, encouraging work-from-home initiatives, and second, curbing expensive foreign weddings. It's an interesting approach. By keeping workers at home, you're potentially reducing fuel consumption and taking the strain off urban infrastructure. And by discouraging those lavish destination weddings, well, you keep significant wealth circulating right there within the domestic economy instead of bleeding it overseas. It's a highly targeted approach to cooling the economy just by altering our everyday habits. Moving right along to Section 2, Vijay's major political debut. So, shifting from national economics to a massive regional spectacle, actor-turned-politician Vijay has absolutely not wasted a single moment as Tamil Nadu's new chief minister. He hit the ground running. His very first official orders set this immediate tone of protection and populism. Order number 1, free electricity. Order number 2, a dedicated women's safety force. These are heavy-hitting, highly visible policies, and they're clearly designed to establish his priorities right out of the gate. But it's not just the policies that matter here, it's the people he's bringing with him. A real standout figure in his newly formed cabinet is Skir Thurthana. She's actually the youngest member of the Legislative Assembly in his administration, and remarkably, she fluently speaks 5 languages. Highlighting someone like Kirthana sends a very clear strategic message. This new administration is aiming to present itself as youthful, diverse, highly educated, and totally accessible across different linguistic communities. And that is a massive strategic asset in a historically language-sensitive political arena. Now, this rapid momentum immediately sparked a political flashpoint. During his highly anticipated oath-taking ceremony, a very specific stylistic and political choice was made regarding the anthems. The song Vande Mataram was played in full, and this was immediately followed by the national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. Well, this specific sequence completely sparked an intense political battle between the ruling DMK and Vijay's TVK party. The friction over whether a Tamil anthem should have taken precedence really highlights just how deeply symbolic every single public action is in this new political landscape. And as you might expect, the honeymoon period ended almost as soon as it began. We're already seeing the very first major post-election bout between MK Stalin and Chief Minister Vijay. And it all centers around this staggering quote, a 10 lakh crore debt. This enormous figure is the battleground for their first heavy-hitting policy clash. It totally lays bare the immense financial realities and the partisan finger-pointing that's going to define the state's politics moving forward. Okay, we are shifting gears completely for Section 3, Ahmedabad's decades-old cold case. We are stepping far away from the loud world of state politics and into the shadows of a deeply buried secret in the Vatva area of Ahmedabad. I really want you to consider this for a second. How exactly is a 34-year-old mystery finally solved? Back in 1992, a woman named Farzana Dosubairan Puri completely vanished. According to investigators, her husband, Shamsuddin Musaji Kedawala, alongside his family members, allegedly conspired to murder her following prolonged domestic disputes over her lifestyle. And for over 3 decades, there was absolutely no trace of her. Nothing. So how does a trail go from totally ice cold to cracked wide open a whole generation later? Well, the answer actually starts with this number, 18. 18 feet. That is the terrifying depth of a pit. Specifically, a cesspool located on a property in Qutub Nagar, Sayedwadi. It was at the very bottom of this 18-foot deep, dark hole that officials, working under the supervision of an executive magistrate and the Forensic Science Laboratory, finally excavated human skeletal remains on April 29th. The sheer lengths the perpetrators went to just to ensure Farzana was never found are truly chilling. And the scale of this deception, it spans across generations. In 1992, Farzana goes missing, and this family conspiracy to destroy the evidence kicks into gear. But it isn't until April of 2026, 34 years later, that the Forensic Science Laboratory oversees that grim excavation. And then, by May of 2026, police officially arrest her husband and his accomplices. I mean, just imagine carrying a secret that heavy, a crime that horrific, every single day for 34 years.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, Guilt, Ghosts, and DNA.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this whole thing finally unraveled. Because this cold case wasn't cracked by a routine police patrol or some standard audit. No, it was cracked from the inside out through a really bizarre psychological break. For years, the family was reportedly gripped by absolute terror, just overwhelmed by guilt and experiencing hallucinations of Farzana's shadow. Desperate for some kind of relief from this perceived paranormal torment, they actually sought out occult practices and tantric rituals to try and exorcise her ghost. And it was during these very attempts to clear their conscience and their home that whispers of the actual 1992 murder leaked out to the world. That dark whisper finally reached the Ahmedabad City Crime Branch. They received a tip-off, and that ended 34 years of silence. Their own psychological terror gave them away.
So, once the authorities had that tip, the dominoes just fell. Police officially arrested the husband, 61-year-old Jamshuddin, his 63-year-old brother, Iqbal, and 2 other associates, Abdul Karim Yaqubji Javarawala and Shalia Bibi Samud Khan Patan. The charges levied against them are incredibly severe, as you'd expect, falling under IPC Sections 302 for murder, 201 for destruction of evidence, and 120B for criminal conspiracy. But, as we all know, whispers of ghosts and tantric rituals aren't exactly going to secure a conviction in a court of law, and that is where hard science stepped in. The remains recovered from that 18-foot pit were sent straight to the Forensic Medicine Department at BJ Medical College. Through DNA profiling, which is a highly precise forensic technique used by the FSL, investigators were able to definitively, without a doubt, match those decades-old skeletal remains to Farzana. So, science basically grounded all those supernatural rumors into undeniable empirical proof.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. Whether we're looking at the massive Rs 10 lakh crore financial realities hidden beneath a brand new political administration, or a horrific crime buried 18 feet deep for 34 years, can secrets ever truly stay hidden forever? It really seems that whether it's through the slow grind of economic pressure, the loud clash of political rivals, or just the inescapable haunting weight of human guilt, the truth always finds a way to surface. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking questions, keep looking past the headlines, and I will see you in the next explainer.